I'm talking to Ciaran Doran of Pixel Power. Ciaran, thanks for your time. Pixel Power started 30 years ago as a business in very high quality graphics. How's it changed over the last 30 years and how would you describe yourself now?
Pixel Power, yeah, a 30-year-old company. The two founders are still at the heart of the company. A lot of change has taken place in those days, those 30 years, but essentially some of the most fundamental things within Pixel Power have remained the same. The way I describe the company in one word is trusted. And I use that word very carefully because there's not many companies that can honestly say that they've been trusted with the brand of a broadcaster around the world. And the brand of a broadcaster at the end of the day is their business. It's what gets the appeal from the viewers. So being able to work with an organization like Pixel Power from a broadcaster's perspective, you're effectively handing over the crown jewels or sharing the crown jewels of your organization. It's what everything, it's what your advertising is based on, the number of viewers, and your viewers' appeal is being increased by the branding. So that's been at the heart of Pixel Power for 30 years. We've moved over the last 10 years into the automation and playout area to deliver efficiencies for broadcasters to be able to get that brand out to their viewers, to be able to do cross-channel promotions, to be able to do squeeze backs, for example, which was a major innovation in its day. At the heart of everything that we do is the whole area of being trusted by our customers. We can't afford not to be. So there's, I think, a lot at trade shows around the world across the years, the whole idea of we don't show something unless we can actually make it work, and we don't deliver it unless it does work. And that sounds like it should always happen, but I think we know in our industry it doesn't always happen. A medium-sized company like Pixel Power doesn't keep going for 30 years unless it can be trusted to deliver. And so that trusted to deliver both the graphics and the product, and now moving into the new world of virtualized software, we've been demonstrating for the last 3 years the ability to be able to do live editing and live switching between various different feeds from the virtualized cloud. So I think that reputation of being trusted is probably the most important thing I would emphasize.
So you've created an unusual balance in that you've got continuity, as you say, the two guys that founded it still run the company, yet
Absolutely.
You've transformed it in terms of responding to the changes in the industry.
Yes, and those changes, if you look at, for example, just the automation world on its own, 30 years ago, automation was in its infancy. It was a very complex and difficult thing to do at the time. Not that it's not complex at all now, but a lot of those complexities have moved away because tape has moved away. So all the different machines from different manufacturers had different pre-rolls, for example. They tried to synchronize them, but it was never the same. So getting an automation system to work 30 years ago was a very intensively complex task. That side of playout automation now is, let's say, a little bit more simple or simpler than it was before. So we've now diversed the automation technology into automating other workflows within a broadcaster, other workflows where they need to make efficiencies, for example, delivering assets to a VOD platform or promo versioning and things like that. And we've done surveys with our customers around the world, and they are much more attracted to finding an automation system which will work with their playout, of course, but also work across a whole number of other workflow areas.
And this is proven technology. This is stuff you have working with major broadcasters around the world.
Oh, absolutely. We've got Sky, and we've got Sky Television, which is well known all over the world for its sports, especially the Premiership in the United Kingdom, and ITV in the UK. Both use this system to deliver automatic versions of the different in-channel and cross-channel promotions.
Brilliant, brilliant. So the whole idea of automation is expanding because the requirements have expanded.
There's a number of aspects to do with that. Yes, the requirements have expanded. The number of channels have expanded. The competition for broadcasters has hugely expanded. They're fighting for eyeballs at the end of the day. And those eyeballs are not just moving to other broadcast channels, they're moving to other areas of technology. It could be the YouTube videos, it could be online, it could be Google. So there's a whole range of attraction for eyeballs, and broadcasters have to try their best to keep those eyeballs with them. So therefore, they're wanting them to keep them in that world. Therefore, they've got to do more promotions and more in-channel and cross-channel promotions in the television channels, but also to their own online world as well.
So an online service is becoming more like a broadcast service in terms of promos and identities and branding.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, the viewer isn't really, they're discerning in many ways, but they're not discerning in terms of, oh, this is an online platform, therefore I should expect to see something different. They expect when they switch from the television in the front room to the back of the headrest in the car to the mobile phone when they're on the train, they expect to see the same thing with the same branding. And so therefore the emphasis is on the broadcaster to make sure that there is consistency right across all platforms. And that's what we're focusing on with them.
And also in terms of quality, of perceived quality, because of course we've grown up with broadcast where, you know, we're guaranteed to get a new picture every 25th of a second. You know, it's seamless, it's smooth, and you need to be able to translate that into the automated, streamed, connected world too.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting when you look at the years where there's a World Cup or the years where there's an Olympics, often you'll find within those broadcasts flashbacks to 20 years ago or 25 years ago. And it's then that you begin to see the quality difference and you realize we actually have moved a great deal forward, both with our presentation quality, with the ability for the graphics to get across multiple platforms. That's absolutely something that has changed in the last few years.
Okay, final really hard question. Pixel Power's developed beyond recognition over the last 30 years. What's in the next 30 years?
30 years is a long time. If I could predict 30 years, I would be making money from other things, I think. In the next few years, I honestly believe that it's in many ways more of the same. It's trusted to deliver. It's being there for the broadcasters as they transition to new technology platforms and making sure that we can deliver the technology for them. Where we've been going in the last few years of moving from hardware only to software platforms, from software platforms that are not just software, but based on an IP transport stream, offers those broadcasters huge flexibility. I think we're only really at the beginning, at the very edge of understanding what that enables within a broadcaster. And in many ways, it's not us that can actually decide who or how that will evolve. I think sometimes the broadcasters don't even know themselves. But when we get those platforms in place, and we enable people to start thinking of new ways of how to broadcast, new ways of how to make efficiencies within their workflows, that's when the excitement's going to happen over the next few years.
Sounds terrific. I very much look forward to discussing it with you again, maybe not for 30 years, but certainly for a few more years. Ciaran Doran, Pixel Power, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Dick.